Welcome to Our Yard Podcast. This is episode 27. I am your co-host, Swaggy T, along with Ye Olde Hogmaster. And once again, on the music episode, it's probably going to be a regular thing from here on out. We got ThatsKenny coming
What's
to
up?
you
What's
live
up?
from Memphis. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're going to be talking about the year 1999. And if you thought 1991 was the year that music changed, then 1999 makes 1991 look like 1942. But without any further ado, let's get right into it. Kick that shit.
God damn.
All right. Like I said previously before, this is going to be 1999, and each of us on this episode, with all three of us being on here, we're going to be talking about 5 albums apiece. And this is going to be a really long one, guaranteed two-parter, might be a three-parter. We will see as we go along the way. But following tradition on here, Harley will go first with his first album of 1999.
My first album, look, all these are fucking haters. I'm just gonna start off with a real banger. We're gonna go Make Yourself from Incubus.
Whew.
Fire.
This is a tough one. So I this was Incubus, this was like their first mainstream album that, blew them up. It had the big hits, Pardon Me and Drive on there. Which Drive is still like their biggest song
I'd
commercially.
say it's like their signature song at this point, honestly.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
And dude, like this Incubus, this is the one. Trevor talked about science. Like he touched on Fungus Among Us and then science. In '97, they're great. They're good. Like they're kind of more for people who are Incubus fans. More than
Yeah,
just somebody casually listening. This is when you can start casually listening to Incubus because it's more accessible. Um,
absolutely.
and a fun little exercise we did this week is um I was like, hey, how about we picked our 5 albums. I'm like, okay, obviously we know our five. So like we'll just listen to each other's, 5 albums, and then we'll just like that way we have some insight, we can kind of, judge off everything. So this episode might be a little bit more, in detailed about like, our opinions and stuff.
It's gonna be
But
intense.
it is.
That's
But
right.
dude,
Like
this
homeless
Incubus
people
album,
fucking.
Yeah, yeah.
the what? What'd you say, Trevor?
Like homeless people fucking. It's going to be intense.
Excuse me, sir. Pardon me.
But I'm just gonna go like Make Yourself. It starts open with Privilege, which is a banger. Like the guitar riff to open it up, but why not? Like it just fucking kicks it. It just like it's a good opener for what you're about to experience. And then to me, the album just keeps getting better. Honestly, I mean, Nowhere Fast, Consequence, the warmth. The warmth
Shout
is
out the whales.
the whales hollering at the beginning of it.
Shout out Wales.
When It Comes is probably, I don't know. It might be it's one of my favorite songs on the album. Stellar, that was another big hit off the album. Which that is, even though it's a even though it's a hit, I mean it's a banger, dude. Like
Yeah.
it's a
No, I
banger.
mean, I think the one thing with this album, and like, I hate to sound like, generic, but the hits are just so freaking good. Like, Pardon Me, freaking
Drive.
Drive. Like, it's just man. Uh,
It
but
really is.
like this car, I almost broke my hand over this album back in the day. My sister got in a car wreck and it was her favorite album and it was in the car when she wrecked it and I was trying to figure out how to get the CD out. This is one of those, man.
God bless.
Like, shit, I can't get it out. I don't want to get it out. Like,
They died. It died with the car, bro. That's how it's supposed to go. Like
Captain
drive
goes
right?
down with his ship every time.
On God.
But yeah, those and then like going on from there, it's like Make Yourself, the title track. What just a intense song. You know, if I would have made me, I'd have fucked me in my own way. Like that's some sexy shit. Um, and then of course Drive. You know, everybody knows. Like I don't have to talk about like go in depth about it too much. But it is a phenomenal fucking song.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it still hits every time you hear it. Of course, I like I saw them live and they replayed some of these songs. I'm like seeing it live gave me a little different perspective on them.
I've never
Cause
seen them live. I would definitely like to see Incubus live.
oh, dude, Incubus, like they're top. My God, what a fucking hit! Sorry, I was watching some football. But I think CD Lamb's out, brother. That motherfucker got his bell not rang. But
Football, still
anyway,
football.
yeah, football, brother. Where's my sister at? No,
Hell yeah.
this is real Mississippi shit. Fucking, I don't know, man. Like, like seeing them, like Incubus live, dude. Like, that's one of the best bands. Like, to me, the best live bands I've seen is like number one. It's tied like between Coheed and Cambria and Rush, and Incubus is a close second. Honestly,
Wow.
like Incubus is that fucking good live, dude. Like
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy.
if anybody has the chance to see them, go do it. Like you won't regret it, I promise.
I won't do it again.
Yeah, you'll do it again. But the rest of the album, I mean, you got Clean. Like honestly, it might get better
Clean's
as
probably,
the
my
album.
Clean is by far my favorite song on the album.
Oh yeah, like you
That
can't
or
go
Out from
wrong with
Under,
it.
man. You can't pick a wrong song on here, truthfully.
I liked Clean, and I liked I Miss You. As far as
Oh
out of
yeah,
the my favorite's
I Miss
Pardon
You's
Me.
a banger.
Yeah,
I Miss You's one of I'm a sad boy, so that's one of my favorites.
yeah. I was on my sad shit at the time as well.
I love I Miss You. Like it will make you. It will make you
Make
catch
you
your next wife if you're not in the right headspace.
make you miss some shit.
And
Oh God.
Make
then
you miss shit that never even happened to you.
that's
It's like,
Like,
God no.
why am I calling my girlfriend from third grade?
Or goddamn, you go through Arby's, it's like I should call her. Beef and
I
cheddar
drove.
reminds me of you.
That man a
I,
clown.
I drove past the marina last night and I smelled your scent.
God,
Insert whale noises.
I miss the warmth.
Yeah, dude. But I don't know. Pardon me. The last two songs,
Fucking banger.
Pardon Me is a forever banger. You're right. Out from Under, one of the best album closers of all time. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Like that song is so fucking heavy, and it's just perfect how to end an album. Especially this album. Like this album, I'm telling you, dude. I swear to God, this album just gets better the deeper you go into it.
Yeah,
Like
it just like builds and then blows up in the sky. Like it's just that's how you want it. That's how you want an album, man.
I mean, but that's how Incubus is, in my opinion. Which I am a massive Incubus fan. There is dick riding, not gonna cap, but like I love Incubus so much, and to me, that's how all their albums like they're wonderful, and they just get better and better. Like as far as they go down the line, it's just like I don't know.
Um,
It's
this is
just great.
this is a little bit off topic, or it's on topic, but off year. Um, so I noticed that they had released an album this year. Is it still good? Like I'm gonna have to do an Incubus deep
Okay,
dive.
so the
Well,
album they
technically,
released,
it's the album that came out in 2001. Unless they put out a completely new album, it was they re-recorded Morning View from
yeah,
Okay,
2001.
yeah, that's what it is.
yeah
Okay.
they re-recorded Morning View. Their last studio album of new material was in 2017, which was the tour
8.
I saw them, which was
But
eight. The album was called Eight,
yeah,
which is kind of like it's eight. I don't know, dude. That whole album, that's a great album too. We'll get into
really.
that later on, but I don't know. Some people don't
So
really
they're
care about
consistent.
the what.
So they're consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Now I
I'll
will
definitely
say,
give them a deep dive.
some people, like their fall off album, some people will say it's if not now, when, which is in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't like it because it's different. But
You know
dude,
what?
it's one of my
Fuck 'em.
favorite. I mean, I love it. I think it is different, but it's a phenomenal album.
Well, it's
Like,
kind of like with like Linkin Park. Linkin Park did all that experimentation or whatever, and everybody was super, this isn't Hybrid Theory, but
yeah,
like I like a lot of like I forget the name of the album. It's the album that's got like
one more
um
light. Talking about the
no
last one they
no
did
no
with
no
Chester.
well no except for that, with the exception of that album is trash. I'm sorry,
Oh
R.I.P. Chester
God, you
Bennington.
done
That
made an
shit is
enemy.
trash.
It's still better than the new bitch they got now.
Oh, anything. I don't even acknowledge that. No, bro. Like, no. Like, no, I'm not even gonna waste my energy on that. Like, I've been trying to, find my peace in life and finding my peace in life, and then trying to listen to this new Linkin Park Big Bang Theory bullshit isn't gonna be part of that
Big Bang
piece.
Theory bullshit.
I don't care if who they get on the rap feature. I don't give a fuck. You know it's coming, bro. They're gonna have that Lupe Fiasco feature right out the gate, and I'm gonna be like, eat my words.
They're like they're trying
Uh,
to fuck on me.
right. Folks are trying to play games with me. That's Kenny.
But yeah, that. I mean, I guess we give our collective thoughts about the Incubus. About the Make Yourself album.
I would
If
say
I
personally, Make Yourself is probably my favorite Incubus album. Um, I love the rawness of it. I love that it was kind of a bridge that kind of tied like the early, like, like a heavier Red Hot Chili Peppers to what the sound they're known for now. And I feel like them going into Morning View was them expanding on that sound. And then they got Ben Kenny on the bass after Dirk Lance left. And I feel like Make Yourself was like, it still had like the bits of Incubus that like the old school fans of them, like the Science and Fungus Among Us era fans, could still appreciate, while also like catering to an entire new audience. And yeah, I feel like the best example of that on a song would definitely be Clean from that album. I'd personally give it a 9 out of 10.
yeah,
I feel the same, and like as a casual Incubus fan, but somebody who's heard this album, as soon as like it started, as soon as I saw the cover art, I was like, oh shit, this is the junk that was stuck in my sister's car. And then I had a few of these saved in my playlist already, but listening to it front to back after all these years was refreshing. I always say like nostalgic or whatever, but it was like nostalgic in like a refreshing way, Like it didn't make me super like, I miss being 12 years old. It was like, cool to come at it from like, you know, a grown perspective. And you know, uh it just gave me a lot of thoughts of, well, first of all, dude, whoever the lead singer is, that man's spitting. Like on Pardon Me, that man rapping his ass off.
Brandon
Um
Boyd,
yeah, the man cold.
and he's
Um
a badass dancer too.
see,
On
there we
stage,
go.
like that's his nickname. Is just a fun fact. His nickname in the band is Brandon the Invisible Floating Torso Man Boyd.
Hell yeah.
Because he moved like if you watch him live, like watch a live video of him, and that son of a bitch just looks like he's vibing it. I don't know. It's wild.
Straight
And
vibing. Yeah.
I saw it live and experienced it, and it still tripped my fucking mind out. Like how that
Like
He's
dude
on that
on
shit.
stage.
you can go see Michael Jackson or Incubus. It's gonna be Incubus every day.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
so what's your rating on it, Kenny?
Um, I give it a solid. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. For somebody like this is encountering all my albums. Cause I can't really, considering how big of a hip hop head I am. I don't have many other albums in like the 9-10 category, but this could be. I could see this being a 9 or a 10 one day. Definitely a 9. To me, as a casual fan, it feels like the foundation for Incubus. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's when they kind of hit their stride. So
Mm.
I can't disagree. But if I had to take I would say because it's not my favorite of their albums. Um, that comes on later, which I'll get on my other list. I'd have to give it. I'll have to give it a. I have to go 8 point. I have to go 8.5, like you did. I mean, it's like
Hell yeah.
it holds a high place for me, but it's not. Like I said, it's not my favorite.
Right.
Not
You
my
got to think about
favorite
what
one.
nines and tens really are. Like it's you know, that's a big honor to give. It's just like calling somebody a legend. Like you have to people have to think about the weight of the words that they use. And like everything can't be the greatest.
Oh yeah. No, I
Oh, so I
mean,
respect that
yeah. So that's me. Like I give it 8.5. Like I said, it's a great album. Of course, I don't know. Like if you want to get into Incubus, this is a great place to start. I'll say
for
that.
sure.
Like, and then you can go forward and go backwards, and you're not going to be lost. So,
Yeah. So, would y'all recommend going forward from here or backwards, albums wise? Backwards.
Either way,
either way,
Either way.
honestly.
All right.
because it is a good blend. It's a good mix of what they did, um, of their sound wise. But going forward, it gets better to me. So I would say, going forward. But yeah.
For sure.
Um, so with that, we'll go to Trevor's first album that he's selecting.
And for me, this is like of the five I picked, this is like in my opinion the weakest of the five I'm putting up to bat today. Um, Probably the heaviest all around album that we're going to be talking about today, and that's going to be Wisconsin Death Trip, which is the debut studio album of the industrial metal slash new metal band Static X. And rest in peace to Wayne Static. He wound up dying in year of our Lord 2014, and his wife wound up taking her own life shortly thereafter. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of a sad story. But
Rest
that
in
being
peace.
said, this album, when it came out, I don't think a lot of people really realized like what they were going to be moving forward. And I feel like of the new metal era, this is one of the more slept on albums as far as things go. But it's got a very well rounded kind of industrial sound. So for someone like me, I like EDM and I like metal. It just combines it, and it's like, okay, this is fucking dope. But definitely like very horror movie esque kind of music. It's like something you would hear in like those early 2000s like slasher films like Chucky or fucking would be another good example like Jason X. It's like that kind of like vibe when it comes to the soundtrack of what you would hear in
It's
those
that Jason
movies.
Goes to Space music.
Yeah, this that Jason X kind of music. Yeah, that's a really
Yeah.
good way to put it. And but with that being said, it starts off with I would say arguably the biggest hit they ever put out, "Push It," which is just quick 2.5 minute long banger and fantastic drumming on it. Wayne Static wailing his heart out. He had a very like kind of a unique take on like how metal singers were supposed to approach their music. And I would say I wouldn't necessarily call him a great singer, but he's definitely not a bad singer. Right after that, it goes to "I'm with Stupid," which kind of follows in line of like them being heavy into sampling again old horror movies, and they'll have like different voice lines from old horror movies like sampled throughout the music, and it's a nice touch when you're going for that kind of scary vibe that they were going with. And again, "I'm with Stupid" was another really big hit off this album. Right after that, it goes into "Bled for Days," which is another big hit off of this album. And the drumming on this album, um, done by Ken J, was just superb through all the way throughout the entire album. But right after that, it goes into "Love Dump," which I feel like is one of the like better performances of Wayne Static himself. Like his singing, he's in that higher registry, just screaming, and Ken J's just blasting on the double bass, and it's a very well rounded song. The bass is going hard, and the programming that Wayne was doing throughout was just superb. Um, right after that goes into "I Am," which if I had to pick a weakest song on the album, it would probably be "I Am," but do not take that as me saying this is a bad song. I do recommend pretty much every song from the album, but "I Am" is, I would say, probably my least favorite on the album, but still, just like the rest of the album, very heavy sampling, very heavy, processed guitars, almost comes off kind of like Ministry or bands of that nature, but like with a little bit more of an edge to it. Right after that, it goes into Articulation, which I probably butchered that, but one of my favorite songs on the album. And immediately goes into Stem, and the transition from at the end of Stem going into Sweat of the Bud almost comes off like it's the same song, but then just complete like Stem is a bit slower, and I enjoy it a lot. When Static X gets slow, that's when I feel like they're at their best. And a great example of that is several albums after this, they put out a song called Skinny Man, which is me and Harley's favorite song from them.
Skinny
Fucking
man.
banger. Skinny Man, just one word, and it's a
Skinny,
fucking
skinny
banger.
man.
It was on the Need for Speed Most Wanted soundtrack.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I heard it then.
Absolute banger. Right after Stem and Sweat of the Bud, which again, just that transition alone, I would recommend listening to it on Spotify so you can get the full effect of that transition. It's
I like
amazing
that.
how they do. I love when bands do that. I love, especially hip hop artists, just
Just album.
transitioning from, yeah, just
It's so important, and I think it's like becoming a lost art. So I'm glad that you're speaking on that, like because it's like I mean I'm sure on vinyl it's even better, but it's like just I mean albums are supposed to like breathe, and if you're on that philosophy, which is the correct philosophy, if you're not on that philosophy, then fucking get the fuck out of my house, bro. But um like or hon, get the fuck out of our yard, bro. Hold on, my bad.
that's right. Our
um
yard every Wednesday.
every Wednesday,
Every
every
Wednesday. We don't release
every
on
night.
Wednesday, but that's when you need to listen to it.
Yeah, this is good midweek content. I feel like
That's right. Happy
um,
Sunday.
yeah, happy Sunday, man. I hope y'all all went to church this morning. Uh, but yeah, like I like transitions and albums, and like I felt like the entire thing was pretty good at that. But anyway, sorry, I'm gonna let you finish.
No, you're all good. Right after Stem and Sweat of the Bud, it goes into Fix, which I would say is probably my second favorite song on the album. Fix. It's a short little 2 minute 49-second banger, and it's more talking about like Wayne Static, and I mean, I guess he was already dealing with like abusing drugs at this point, which is very unfortunate because that is how his life ended. Unfortunately, he wound up overdosing, but
Yeah,
not
I
to
just saw
dwell
he
too
died on my
long.
birthday.
Yeah, no, it's a sad ass story. Not to mention, not a lot of people know this. Wayne Static had been playing music since the '70s.
Really?
You know, yeah, since 1978, he started pretty much. He was given guitar lessons, and it paid off a year later. He won a talent contest playing an old dance number called "Skip to My Lou," and he wound up starting a band, and they were doing like heavier music up into the 70s and 80s, and then eventually he got into the new metal. So by the time he was already like in the 90s, a lot of people say is like, oh, all these new metal people, they don't know how to play instruments. Well, fuck that. No, Wayne Static was an amazing guitarist.
Mm.
Like, he was a fantastic instrumentalist, but like what they figured out in the 60s and 70s, especially, this kind of branching off, but people like Richie Blackmore from Deep Purple, he was a jazz guitarist. And then he started looking at people like The Who and, the Kinks and people like that. And he was like, well, simple sells. So let's stay simple. Kiss, keep it simple, stupid. And I mean, simple sells more often than not, so like they figured that out. And that's kind of what new metal is built on, is just like simplistic but also like catchy and complex enough that people are going to be like, what the fuck is this? But
Right.
we're going to get into more new metal later on. But
New
with that
metal.
being said, it goes into the title track, Wisconsin Death Trip, which is a fantastic song
Banger.
and fucking banger. And right after that, second to last song on the album, The Trance is the Motion, another one of my favorite songs because it's a bit slower and it's a bit longer, but all the same, a banger nonetheless. And then it goes into my absolute favorite song on the album, an intense ass 6.5 minute song called December. And what a way to close an album. Um, they really they kind of broke away from the new metal aspect of it on this particular part of the album, but I would say this is by far my favorite song on the album. And Wayne Static's kind of, got these like whispery, kind of wavy vocals throughout, and then it just gut punches you with one of the heaviest riffs on the album. And just fantastic way to close the album. My only complaint with that song is that there's a 2-minute intro with, again, like the heavy sampling of like old horror movie dialogue in that 2 minutes. But as soon as the song kicks in, it's like, the 2 minutes felt like 15 seconds. And I'd have to say, as a whole, this album is fantastic. It was definitely like a platform for them to build onto their sound later on with albums like Machine and Shadow Zone. But I feel like you don't have any of that without Wisconsin Death Trip. And for that, I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. Like I really do enjoy this album. There's some weak points, but I do thoroughly enjoy this album.
Fantastic.
Y'all got anything y'all want to add on to that?
Here I'll launch into this. Launch into this shit right quick. All right. So my favorite song was "Music Is the Trance," or was the trance one. Crap, I forgot the name of the title.
The trance
I
is
like
the motion.
Trance is Emotion, exactly. Thank you, sir. And like I can see like the electronic infusion is cool, and like it's interesting to know that bands have been wheelhouse at all, but I can appreciate it. I'll give it like a 6 out of 10.
That's fair. Again, Static X is not for everybody. So, again, I appreciate y'all even going out y'all's way to listen to this, because I figured on both sides, this is probably the one album that y'all were like, like going into. But usually it pleasantly surprises people, usually.
Yeah, no, it was interesting.
Yeah, it's a surprise. Like, I mean, obviously, I don't like whenever you got me into Static X a long time ago, and we listened to Skinny Man, which is their best song for anybody listening that wants to listen to a Static X song. That's the best one.
That'd be my theme song.
But well, I hope not.
Oh God,
I hope not. That song's about being fucked up on heroin, so I hope not.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
Bad,
all right, yeah, never mind.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not talking about your weight wise, brother. It's bad shit.
It's just bad shit.
But no, like obviously listen to this album back in the day, and of course I heard Static X like the hits off here growing up, and they are fun. Like Push It's a fun song. I'm Was Stupid. All that. I still think the title track is probably my favorite. Wisconsin Death Trip. That's like when I went back and listened to it, I'm like, damn. What I was like, shit, this song bangs. But like you say, I mean, they are a band that's like it isn't for everyone, and I get that. But like you talked about, it's like it went from it kind of just stripped it down. Like in the late '90s, it went down to simplicity. Like they cut it down simple. But the thing that made it complex that threw people for a loop was the why they call it new metal. The whole like integrating rap and like hip hop into it.
The whole
and
whole razzmatazz.
Yeah,
the
and like
EDM.
bringing in like EDM or the scratch like the turntables. Like Incubus had it, Limp Bizkit, Static. Like a lot of those bands had corn. Like everybody, like a lot of people had that hip hop. That kind of
Colonizers.
Yeah.
yeah. No, but definitely you can hear. 99, I guess, would be the year. I don't know. Like you gentlemen probably agree that rap kind of its infusion into mainstream that happened. Like it was rap was already hip hop was mainstream by then, but after 1999, hip hop was super mainstream.
Yep. Without a doubt. And that goes back and that goes into like the WWE theme songs. Like that's when they started doing a lot of the rap. Like when Jim Johnson started doing a bunch of the rap rock stuff for like it was just part of the culture. Like everybody loved it.
Right, and I'm gonna
Like,
save. I'm gonna save my thoughts because I know you have an album by them. But the goats of that we're also dropping this year.
oh yeah, I gotta
But
have the
yeah,
goats.
I'm not even gonna mention. That's all I got to say.
But I would say like if I gave this a true rate, I would have to go 7 out of 10. That would be like 6.5 to 7, in that range, like depending on the day, I guess. Because it is a strong album. Like it really is, but it's I don't know, like it's
Solid.
just yeah, it's solid, but it like I said, it's just not for everyone. So
And
it's just
again, rest in peace to the lead singer, correct?
yeah,
Yes.
Rest in peace
yeah,
to the lead
Wayne
singer.
Static.
As somebody who's gone through some of those issues, it sucks to hear a creative person that it just sucks.
Yeah,
It always does.
but
Oh,
yeah, that was the Wisconsin Death Trip.
hold on. I got one more fact about it. I just read this on Wikipedia. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I didn't hear anybody say it, so I'm gonna go on and do it. Did y'all know that the title was taken from a book that's been out of print for about 20 years? So it was out of print by the 80s. It was a historical book about life in a small town in Wisconsin from 1890 to 1900, and about everything that happened, but it focuses on people dying and how they died.
Really?
Yeah, I'm according to Wikipedia. I mean,
Huh?
how
Did
much do
not
you
know
trust
that.
Definitely
Wikipedia?
checked out.
That checks out, but I did not know that's what it was. That was the title. That's
The
cool.
more you know. Yep. The more you
The
know.
more you know. The Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow. Damn, I forgot that. Reading Rainbow. Damn. All right. Anyways,
Come on, man. Take a look. Reading Rainbow. But anyways, we'll go to Kenny's his number one selection in the 1999 draft.
um, my number one selection in the '99 draft. You gonna fuck me up, Harley? Because now I got to fucking. All right. I'm gonna start with my fifth pick.
Yeah, it's not the best. Not the best is for last.
Yeah. My number fifth pick. Um, I almost fucking did some sacrilegious shit in my lore on this podcast, but I'm gonna go with The Art of Storytelling by Slick Rick.
Oh yeah.
Um, because like I have Most Def in here because of mathematics, but I went and just re-listened to the rest of the album. Then I listened to this Slick Rick album just because I was like, all right, I'll give it consideration. I never heard it all the way through. Man, this shit it's fantastic, dude. Nobody else is like Slick Rick. There's nobody else that's like him. And I know I talked about this in the last episode with DMX, but this era of hip hop, especially, and I don't know, like for people getting into rap and stuff now, hip hop now, I mean, there's different stuff. Yeah, they have the most creative music being made, arguably the most creative music being made in the genre ever. But there are a lot of just clones. It's like I feel like I hear the same rapper all the time. That used to not be allowed. Like literally, they used to not be allowed. When you started rapping, you had to be different, or you weren't gonna get a deal. You weren't gonna get noticed. So
Right.
Slick Rick is somebody who, and I believe this is the last album he released. You know,
Yep.
and
It was.
also another fun fact about Slick Rick, British American rapper, bro. He was the first. I don't know. I heard Skepta got blacklisted. I haven't like I've done the research on it, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I don't want to get canceled. He's like the Skepta. He's like the OG to Skepta in a weird way. Um, so that's cool. So for all my people out here into UK drill and stuff, this is the grandfather. But
Oh yeah.
it features production from DJ Clark Kent, Kid Capri, you know, um, Street Talking is with Outkast is the most well known song. But my
Banger.
favorite was yeah, no, dude, I was not that's what made me like the the second, like the first song, well, the actual first real song on the album, it got my attention. But by the third and fourth, fifth, by the end of, you talk about 3 song runs, Street Talking, Me and Nas Bring It to You Your Hardest, featuring Nas, then I Own America Part 1. That's just, man, that's a really great 3 song run. You can't really go wrong with either one of those, and for different reasons too.
Right.
Um And then, man, bro, shouts out to Cannabis. Like, you know, I need to go and listen to some Cannabis at some point. I hope he's doing all right in his life. And then, you know, I'm not gonna go song for song. I'm just gonna, you know, kind of make it, you know, basic. Uh, it's a fantastic album, man, and it like, got Snoop Dogg on here. You got Raekwon, another fantastic verse from Raekwon. I fuck with like, um, just the storytelling in it. Like, it's like the storytelling in this album and just the lyricism. If you're into that type of stuff, um, it's like can't miss. Uh, I uh, I almost ranked this album fourth, and you know you'll see why I didn't rank it fourth when you see what my other four albums are. But 99 was a tough year. This could easily be like number like 2 or 3 for me in a different year. I think it's going to grow on me. So, um,
As it should.
and you know, like you know, with having Outcast there, and then the art of storytelling, and then the Equimini to the Equimini point. You know, I got there was so much music to listen to this past week. I haven't exactly been able to get to everything that I wanted to get to, because I had to, you know, do the stuff that was, you know, like required, and then I got to listen to beats. So, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I get it.
Uh, but it was really cool. I can't wait to like get through all of Equimini, because like I just like I got to like the third song. I played Rosa Parks, and then I had to do something else, and like I was like, damn. I was like, it was like I might do that tonight. Actually, I might listen to Equimini tonight. But it was cool to see like the lore of um you know what they created with the art of storytelling. It was cool to see it get extended. You know. Um,
Absolutely.
Like, in a way I wasn't hip to. Like, I need to go back and listen to all of Slick Rick's albums, honestly, because it's just he's creative, man, and like his voice was just it's different. Like nobody else. Like, and I think when we get into you know, like later years or whatever, this point will probably have more appreciation. But like, you know, and this is the way everything goes. Inspired by like, so when I'm talking like in 2010, I'll be talking about these are the folks that inspired these people, you know. Um, and like right now at the in 1999, we're actually at the creation of a lot of ways of rap, you know, like ways of rap, subgenres, you know, whatever. It's kind of like new metal for rap, I guess. But like,
For
yeah,
sure.
man, the art of storytelling, fantastic, fantastic song or a fantastic album, and I would probably give it like a I'm gonna give it a 7. The only criticism, it has everything there. Only criticism is there's like it's the runtime's a little bit too long, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a pretty extensive album.
Yeah, I mean, I could have done without about. Honestly, if I'm being honest, if they could have like shortened that to like 10 or 12 songs, you might have something like super, you know, uh, just something I would, you know, if it was like if you'd have done like 40 minutes and just take like I could have done without the Snoop Dogg feature. I could have done without like all the skits were a little bit too long. But yeah, I enjoyed it though. Not to say I did not enjoy it. Like it was a very I wish I don't know exactly the history with Slick Rick like that. This is but you know I wish he would have released more music or gotten the chance to you know like wish he would release more music.
I don't disagree. I wish he would have
Like
put out more than fucking 4 albums. You know, it's
no,
the only. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, you're good, you're good. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, 7.
Yeah, I would say personally, the only like big hang up I have on it personally is like I could have done without like adults only, which I don't know if anybody's never heard adults only. Trust me, you're not missing much unless you want to hear Slick Rick rap about anal sex. Like
Oh yeah,
that's
I
up to
skipped that.
you.
I ain't even gonna lie. Like I heard him, I was like, oh, you know what?
Yeah, because like Slick Rick has that like, oh yeah, I got her in the butthole. Like like I don't know if
Right.
I don't
He's
know if
British
I
as
want to
fuck,
like
bro.
listen
That
to
man
that the
hella
whole
British.
But no, the production on the album throughout is fantastic. My personal favorite song is probably "Street Talking" with Outkast or "Me and Nas Bring It to Your Hardest." Um,
Oh yeah.
aga
Sorry, me and Nas Bring It to Your Hardest was my favorite as well.
yeah. Um, I'd give it a good 7 out of 10. I have to agree with you there. I do feel
Yeah.
like it runs just a little bit too long. There's a few too many skits. The first skit though is funny as hell. I
Oh
do
yeah, the
like
first hit.
where he's like walking through jail and you just hear all these people like here's the pills, here's the pills, every fish has gills. Like they they
Yeah.
have that like old school like late '80s kind of rap vibe to them, and it's
And
like let me out of here.
you know who's like who like the other who that skit's featuring, right? Like this is about to be a list of a run of names for you.
Oh
You
yeah,
got
Ed
eh,
Lover, Redman, Rev Run. You got some
nice, dude.
fucking skits with Q-Tip on there. You got some like
Yeah.
Bugsy, who I can't say for sure I know what the hell a Bugsy is or who Bugsy is, but thank you for your contribution to the album.
Fucks with you, Bugsy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hell yeah. Q-Tip, bro. I always love hearing from Q-Tip, bro. I mean, whatever Q-Tip got to say, honestly, like I'm here for it, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um, but yeah, nah, like I agree. Yeah, the art of storytelling by Slick Rick. Go check that shit out. I'm about to go and like listen to his like because I think he dropped his first album in '89. So like I want to go and listen to all that now. So it did its job as like a I could do a backwards Slick Rick, because this is his last album.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd be around Trevor like about 6.5 out of 10. Somewhere 7 in that
Yeah,
area. I'd
same.
say 6.5. Like I mean, it was good. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna go in like hell. It's like, I mean, y'all pretty much discussed it, just saying, just a little too much length. Like,
Yeah,
there's like a lot of it that could have just, it could have went without. But like overall, it was a fine. Like, it was fine.
the way
Like
it
it's not.
started, like sorry.
Yeah, like it started. That skit and then kill N words.
No, yeah, but like the way it started was the way it was it was eventful. I was like, oh damn, this is about to be that fire, and it was decent.
Yeah. Kill Redacted has probably the best beat on the album to me. Like that production from DJ Clark Kent is fucking chef's kiss on that song.
Oh
Bro,
yeah, it's
DJ
banging.
Clark King, Kid Capri, man, you can't go wrong.
Hell no.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good album. Definitely, check it out if you want to know more about Slick Rick. And like you said, I mean, you probably could listen to it and then go backwards. Might be easier
Mhm.
to die because, like, if you listen to the first stuff, it might be a little too like just looking at it now, where hip hop and rap, you'd be like, oh, this that corny shit, blah blah.
Bro, yeah, like dude, like 1989 sounds like Slick Rick's got slick corny to begin with. I mean, the man, but I mean, it was just at the beginning of shit. But this is at like the latter beginning of everything for hip hop. Like, so it's like, um, I'll talk more, but yeah, it, it's decent. It's a way into I enjoyed it because I enjoy storytelling. So an album called The Art of Storytelling, you got to listen to that, right?
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
but we're gonna go to my number two.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead and give it to him.
Hit him with it.
Hit them
I
with
have to
that.
do it. It might be a little controversial now. No, with with Dave Grohl getting caught cheating and having another kid outside of marriage, but it is what.
Ah, shit.
But here's the thing: he's done that as like truthfully, and I'm not defending him, nothing like that. But he has a past of cheating on his significant other, so like it's not really that big of a
You should be
shock.
happy it's the first time. It's the first time everybody found out, at least.
Not in the '90s. Like Everlong was written about like cheated on. He was with this girl and cheated. The girl that sang he was with. He was married to his first wife, and then the girl. I think it was. Hell, it might have been Veruca Salt from the. Where was she from, Trevor? The Pixies.
Uh, I know
Hell,
she basically became a solo artist, but Veruca Salt,
but
if
she
I'm
did
not
the
mistaken,
backup.
are you talking about? Yeah, well, Veruca Salt was technically like the band itself. I
Oh
think
yeah,
he was
okay.
with Louis Post, who was
But he
the singer and
but
guitarist.
yeah, but she did okay. He was with her too, but Veruca Salt did like the background vocals on Everlong, like the do 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 do.
Yeah.
and that he ended up banging her like with his on his first wife, and then he banged that other chick. Dude, like he was just like that's just kind of been his
It was on
history.
brand for him then. Yeah, I mean, like I'm
Yeah,
not accusing him either, but you know,
but the problem is he's been with his wife for 21 years, and he had a freaking kid outside of like it
wedlock.
wasn't just cheating. He had a kid. You know, he had a whole
Yeah,
ass another kid.
bro, you
So
got a
that's
whole baby outside of wedlock, bro. Like
yeah,
you like
like
you got
that's
to
a
use a whole
different
world term on these folks, bro. Like,
yeah, like that's a different kind of you know, that's a
new
different
level,
kind of stabbing, you know,
definitely a new level.
backstabbing. But anyways, with all that going down, you know, it is what it is. Like you can't deny, like the Foo Fighters are one of the biggest bands ever.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no.
this was so this album, just a little rant, I guess. Like it was really, this is the first album with Taylor Hawkins on drums. A lot of people think it was in color and shape, the color and the shape, but the original drummer was he played the drums. He had all the drum tracks, but Dave, you know, being a perfection, like being a drummer, like he was like, no, we should do this. So like Dave would go in and change the drums. Like he would go and play the drums on the song, like on the album. And he told the like he wasn't he did it and he told the like the original drummer, he's like, you know, I want you to I want you to be in the band. He's like, you just don't have like the dude just never had like a lot of recording experience. So Dave was like trying to teach him and like Dave was trying to show him and then he did play the parts and that dude like, you know, got upset or whatever and so
Mm.
he didn't want no part of the Foo Fighters anymore. So Dave actually did the
Great.
drums on the first two albums. And then on this album, this was Taylor Hawkins, but this is the only album that was a three piece because they already had so many people leaving and all this. So it was Dave, the bass player Nate Mendel, and Taylor Hawkins. It was just them three that recorded this album in Dave's basement in Virginia.
Yeah,
Um,
I was just reading that on. That's crazy.
yeah, this album is. I know a lot of Foo Fighters history. Like I love the Foo Fighters,
They're a
but
good
like,
band. Very good band.
oh, dude, this album, you know, this like honestly, to me, this is their second best album behind Wasting Light, which came out in 2011. That's the best album. That is one of my favorite albums of all time. But that's on a different subject or a different time. There is nothing left to lose is the title of this. It's the third studio album from the Foo Fighters. Like I said, it was the first one with Taylor Hawkins and the three piece. The only one as a three piece. The first song to open it up is Stacked Actors. What a fucking ripper to damn open an album out. Stacked Actors, stacked to the rafters.
Mm.
Wow. Like, dude, it
Yeah,
Goddamn
was
amazing.
just
Amazing
no,
song.
it's
bang.
pretty intense. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was played on the radio a lot. Which back then, like in the late 90s, 2000s, like you couldn't go without hearing, you know, the Foo Fighters on the radio 8 times a day, anyways.
Uh huh.
Like they were just everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you had Breakout, which is another big hit off there. You gotta break out. Everybody break out. Banger. Learn to Fly, which is one of their biggest songs of all time. What did that like? What a way the first three songs to open up an album.
It was
Yeah.
good.
Like it hits hard. And then it gets into more of the deep this one it starts getting into the deeper song like the what they were going through, you know, as a band and as people like you
Yeah,
know, Dave was his thing was they were the way he explained it was they were a new band because in '95 he recorded the album by himself, and then people like it just became an overnight sensation. Like people loved it, and then he was like, "Oh shit!" And they were like, "We want you to play
hmm
shows." He's like, "I don't have a band," so he just had to throw together some people that he knew, and then it was like. You know, because he recorded the whole first album by himself. I didn't know if you knew that or not, Kenny, but
I did not.
he recorded the whole Dave did the all like the bass, guitar, drums, singing, everything, like anything on that album, it is he produced it, everything. Like
Yeah, like
it was
I'm reading
completely
about it
Dave's
now.
role.
Like I'm reading about it now. Like he just basically took like three people that he knew that could play instruments, or like three musicians he knew, and
Yeah.
just like tried something out. But you know, like that's amazing. I'm also reading here. It says that it was his favorite album. It is his favorite album.
Which one? The
No,
first one?
this one. Yeah, no,
Oh,
like
there's nothing
this one.
left to lose.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, because like so with their like with this one, it was like Nate and Dave are the ones that have been there the whole time, and
right.
like Nate. So he got Nate and William Goldsmith, the original drummer. He got them from a band called Sunny Day Real Estate, which they have some good songs. And like Nate and but what Dave said was like they had all this stuff happen. They had all this stuff happen to them. Like they had growing pains as a band because they were such a new band, but they just got thrust into the spotlight. So
Yeah,
they had their growing pains in public, and everybody's like, "Why are they going through all these members?" So they said, "Fuck it, we're just going to do these three. Like the three of us are going to do this album," and that was it. Like
that's how it goes.
and
Sometimes you just
but
gotta
yeah,
do
like
what makes sense.
but like going into like you had "Give Me Stitches," which is a like the whole. I'm just gonna say it. Every song to me on this album is a motherfucking banger. They're phenomenal. Like I love all these songs. Like
I
every
agree.
one of them, and like every one of them hits in its own way because some of them are like slower or some of them fast and all this. But the lyrical content is what's phenomenal to me. That's what really pulled me into this album.
Same.
And like Generator, it's a slept on song. Aurora is a motherfucking classic.
Aurora is
Mm.
my favorite song from this album by far.
Generator's mine.
Yeah, I mean you can't go wrong with either one. And like Live in Skin, that's a great I really enjoy that one a whole lot. But my favorite song is it's between Next Year, which is track 8 after Living Skin. It's either Next Year or Ain't It the Life. On my two like in their slower songs, and they're just man, they are so powerful. I don't know, like, and I know Dave, his favorite song is "Ain't It the Life" on this album because it was a true like they wrote it about what they were going through at that moment, and they're like,
Mm.
when that's what Dave, he's like, it's just he's like, ain't this life? Like they were just sitting there playing,
Yeah.
like doing this album. And he's like, ain't it the life? Like people just leave and like we're having people quitting and joining and like we don't know what we're doing. He's like, but
But
we're
but
just
they're
playing
making great
music.
music the whole time.
Yeah, he's like, but we're just playing music. He's like, ain't it the life? And Taylor was like, dude, you got to write that down. He's like, that's gonna be a song. And then that's how they wrote that. And it is one of the best songs. One of my favorite of theirs. Like hands down, it is a great song. Head Wires, don't forget it. Between Next Year and Ain't It the Life. And then the last song, MIA, fucking banger. Perfect way to end this album. I mean, man, I don't know, like all this stuff, like all the great stuff I can talk about this album. It like I've listened to it my whole life. I mean, my uncle, he always had Foo Fighters stuff. And I remember this album like because of the tattoo on the back of Dave's neck being on hit. Like I just remember that album. I remember
Mm.
seeing that album cover just stuck out to me. And it is, yeah, it like to me, this is when they really hit their stride into what they were about to, go upon. Because like this was a
Becoming one of the
solid
biggest
album.
bands of all time. Like,
Oh yeah, like and they had like the album before, Color and Shade. It had Monkey Ranch and Everlong, and hits like that. And there was another I can't think. My mind's going million miles a minute, so I can't think. There was another hit on that last album, but anyways, yeah, this to me this is like their first complete full album that was, it started showing what they were growing towards,
yeah,
and
no, definitely. You can see the foundation. Well, not even the foundation because Foo Fighters was already like they'd already had Everlong. They'd already had so many big hits, but like this is just like it's an interesting. I'd never heard it before. Or at least I didn't remember it. Like when I had to listen to or when I listened to it,
yeah,
and like I really enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed it more than I think I thought I was going to because like when I looked at it, I was like, oh damn, there's no hits. But the album cover it got my attention, and I was like, okay, and like
yeah. And then
I
you heard
really
the
enjoyed it.
first three songs. You heard the first three songs. You're like, oh, these are fucking hits. I remember like.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, for sure. No, like it's like fucking Foo Fighters, man. Like I've been listening to. Like, if you ain't been listening to Foo Fighters your whole life, I really don't know what to tell you. Like
Yeah. Like if you're our age, like born in '96, like
Foo
Foo
Fighters
Fighters
is
have
fucking
been
nice, man.
around the whole time.
Oh
So
yeah, dead ass. Like
This,
just
I
like all
mean,
the
hell,
other
it was
artists.
'99. That was third album at that point.
yep.
Right. I like that. That's what surprised me. I was like, I figured it was their first album by looking at it. I'm like, oh, okay, it's probably like their first album or whatever. Nope.
No,
Like
they'd already been touring on fucking Everlong, My Hero, Monkey Wrench, like bunch of big songs. Not to mention
yeah.
their first album, which is really just like I stated before, fucking Dave by himself. I'll Stick Around, Big Me, This Is a Call.
Oh, yeah.
They'd already put out like
All the
damn near.
bells.
They'd already damn near put out 10 hits. Like
Bro, fucking doing the damn thing. Foo Fighters, dog. David Grohl. What y'all mean? What you mean? Like,
absolutely.
he is also like Tupac.
Oh yeah, can't keep it in his pants. Oh,
All right. Anyways,
Anyway,
but yeah.
I'll give this. I'll give this album a. I had to give this album like it's not my favorite Foo Fighters. It's my second favorite Foo Fighters album. I'll have to give it a strong. I have to give it a strong 8.5 out of 10. I mean, there's not a weak spot on the album. You can find like all the songs hit.
Mhm.
So it's like this is a great place. To me, it's a perfect place to start with the Foo Fighters. You listen to because obviously like the first three songs are hits, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember this. And then you go down, it's like the album just keeps getting better, and you're like, damn, this is
Oh yeah.
phenomenal.
Oh yeah. And like the runtime, man, it was nice and like it's like only 40 minutes long,
Yeah,
which is
11 songs, 40 minutes, like perfect. Like it's straight
yeah.
to the point. There's nothing, too much about it. It's
Yeah.
done
No,
really well.
I sat down and like did some like folks are about to make fun of me for this shit. I've been doing some word. I've been doing word searches a lot lately. Just I don't know. I picked up doing like word searches, and like I did like 2 3 word searches, and like that was the album, and I was like, oh shit, okay, that was nice. Like
Yeah.
oh, it was
and
damn good.
it's good. Sorry,
No, you're all good. Go ahead.
but it's just it's good when like an album it doesn't overstay, or you don't have to like go back and like look and be like, all right, how many like, what track am I on?
Yeah. When you can just
Which
let
there
it
isn't.
go, and then you're like, damn, it's already over. What the fuck?
Right. Well, it's like no, like those are the best types of like, and that it's really rare to do that. Like on hit on all cylinders with it.
Oh yeah. Like in any genre,
There's
like
some albums that are long as fuck that like I feel like some double discs and shit that I feel like they still have more to say.
oh yeah.
Like I definitely am not like I'm not against long albums like the not to go off on a tangent, but the album that I was working on, or the album that I am working on, or was working on this year, like at one point it had like 18 songs on it, and like it really could be more. It's really over 20 if I really sit down and think about it. So I definitely get it. Um, Having a nice compact runtime is like super crucial. I feel like.
I would have to agree. I would say
Oh yeah.
on
What
this
would you give
album.
it, Kenny? What was your?
Yeah, go ahead, son.
No, I just said, what was your ranking on it? Like out of 10?
Um, I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8. I like Foo Fighters. I'd never heard this before. And I was pleasantly surprised, man. Like, definitely give it an 8.
Oh yeah. What about you, Trevor?
Um, Fun fact about this album, they hardly spent any money on recording this album. They pretty much recorded it in Dave's basement in fucking Virginia when he was living there at the time.
Yeah.
And here's a
That's where
quote.
he's from.
Uh,
Like it was his childhood home.
hmm
So yeah, it was
And
literally
here's
it
it.
was literally his house. So,
Yeah, and him recording. This is an actual quote when they won. They won the best rock album 2001. They won best short form music video with "Learn to Fly." If you haven't seen the music video for "Learn to Fly," it's goddamn hilarious. But here's the quote: "When we won for best rock album, which we made in my basement, I was so proud because we made it in my basement in a crappy makeshift studio that we put together ourselves. I stood there looking out at everybody in tuxedos and diamonds and fur coats, and I thought we were probably the only band that won a Grammy for an album made for free in a basement that year." That was a quote from him
Yeah,
in
right.
2012. Pretty much recorded the album for free, and to win a Grammy, which, Grammys I'm neither here nor there with. Early 2000s, they still had a little bit more validity to me. But this album absolutely deserved it just for a straight run of the mill rock album. And for that alone, I would say this is a very, very pleasant listening experience. Like I said, my favorite song is Aurora, probably followed closely by Stacked Actors or Ain't It the Life. And I'd have to give it, yeah, probably an 8 out of 10. It's not their best album, but absolutely not one you should miss. Like, this is definitely, like, front to back, one of their most solid pieces of work they ever put out. But
Yeah,
with
I
that in
felt the
mind,
same.
going into my second album, this is going to be a bit different as far as what we're going to be talking about today. We're finally starting to explore one of my favorite genres, old Midwest emo, math rock, whatever you want to call it. We're talking about American Football's 1999 album, simply known as American Football. Known retrospectively as LP1 because they put out every album they've ever put out has been called American Football. So this is LP1, and by far the biggest release they ever put out. Um, they are a Illinois-based emo band, and it's pretty much like if you just want to hear like suburbia at its finest, this is a
Very
great
suburban
look
record.
in. Yeah, I mean they're from Urbana, Illinois, so
Hell
just a
yeah.
name like that, it's like yeah, it's the whole town's a suburb. And
Yeah,
like, if you
damn
ever
it.
wanted to, it's like it's time to get sad because like this whole album is goddamn sad,
Pretty
and
sad.
but like in a very cathartic way, especially the first song on the album, which I would say by far is their biggest hit, "Never Meant." And I actually wound up learning the guitar line too. That's pretty much right after I actually listened to the album. I was like, oh God, I love a good challenge. And then it was just like, oh, you just got to go to like FACGCE. And yeah, here we are doing math rock. It's time to order pizza and kill ourselves. But Never
Heck
Meant
yeah.
is a fantastic song, great way to start the album off. And it's considered to be one of the greatest emo songs of all time. And the guitar work from Mike Kinsella is just fantastic throughout. Um, there's only three dudes in the band. You have the singer, you have two guitarists, you have the bassist who's like there every now and then. But a lot of this album doesn't even have bass on it, and that you'd think that'd be sacrilegious for me being a bassist, being like, no, it needs bass. But there's only like two or three tracks on the album that have a bass guitar, and this is a 9-track album. But with it being a 9-track album, it's also clocks in at just under 41 minutes long. So several of these songs are very lengthy. Um, Never Meant goes into The Summer Ends. And if you've ever wanted to like get sad at a trumpet, that's a really great way to do it.
Oh, dude.
Um,
I
the
got
trumpet
Everyone gets out of the trumpet.
the trumpet throughout the album is such a pleasant surprise as far as just like being something you don't expect to make the music that much better, but it does. And
Oh, bro,
holy
the
shit, it does
trumpet.
a wonderful, like, the songwriting on this album doesn't really come off as like you're listening to a song more so than you're listening to like a kid from the suburbs just writing poetry, and then all of a sudden his buddies come over and then they just put it to music.
Yeah.
And a lot of this album, like some of the song titles are just like right at the end of the song. So like, like the summer ends, like it's a great example of that, as well as several of the songs on the album itself. There's a couple instrumentals on there. We'll get into those shortly. Honestly, is a fantastic song as well. It's comes in just over 6 minutes long, and another just rips your heart out. The guitar solo is just fantastically done. Um, the instrumentation throughout this entire album is very subtle but very beautiful throughout. And I would say this was actually one of the starts of, like, there's like this meme in like the alternative music scene where, like, a song will be called, like, it's like, I forgot to order the pepperoni. Can you get a cheese pizza? And then, like, the lyrics are like, you left me here to die in South Dakota. Like, just
Yeah.
fucking, just like the most random shit. Fallout Boy did that a lot, but I feel like that, like, you could, if you wanted to look like for like a Patient Zero, it's probably this album from 1999. And again, for an album from 1999, this shit was so ahead of its time
Mm.
that I don't think people really fully appreciated it up until like the mid 2000s when other people started latching on to that sound. Um, right after, honestly, it goes into For Sure, which another For Sure is another fantastic song.
That might be my
And,
favorite on the album, dude.
dude, and it's so good. Um, just again, like, it goes without saying that there's not a bad guitar line on this album, and it's the first song on the album that actually features a bass guitar, and it definitely plays its part very, very well. Mike Kinsella is doing, he's singing, he's playing guitar, he plays acoustic guitar on some of the album, he's playing the bass. Steve Lamos is playing the drums, he plays the tambourine on several songs. He has a shaker, he plays the trumpet
Yeah.
on every time you hear a trumpet on the album, it's the drummer. And then you have Steve Holmes, who's the other guitarist. He plays the keyboard. He also plays the Wurlitzer on the song. I bet you don't know what that one's on. It's the last song on the album, called "The One with the Wurlitzer," which is very very Midwestern humor, and I appreciate that from them. Right after that, it goes into the first of two instrumentals on the album. I Should Be Leaving Soon, which, honestly, if I had to pick a favorite on this album of the two instrumentals, is probably my personal favorite. Um, right after that, it goes into But the Regrets Are Killing Me. And honestly, I kind of feel like this whole album, like the song titles, kind of play out like a conversation, because it says, never meant the summer ends. Honestly, for sure. I Should Be Leaving Soon, but the regrets are killing me. And then it goes into my favorite song on the album, I'll See You When We're Both Not So Emotional. God damn. I'm it
That's a
takes a
damn
lot.
good song title.
It takes Yeah, you talk about, that's probably the saddest song on the album by far. Um
We ain't sad today.
they
The Raiders just beat the goddamn Ravens. Take that, you goddamn cocksucking motherfuckers. Let's go, baby. Raider
Hell
Nation,
yeah,
you
I'm
fucking
happy
bitch.
as hell to hear that as a Steelers fan.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I decided this year is like, this is the year I'm going to decide to start hating the rest of the AFC North. And this is such a great start, because I remember everybody's like, the Ravens are going to go undefeated. Well, tough titty. You just lost to the Raiders. Don't know what to
Yeah.
tell you.
Yeah.
Damn.
Ravens gonna go about 8-8.
Hell yeah. No, they're going to go 9-8. They're 17 game seasons now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Shit.
I don't
Doesn't
I
make
don't like
football
it
a
being
lot.
an odd number either. Don't worry. But
Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense that it's an odd number, so you don't have any, like. But
no ties. But I mean,
yeah,
like I go in just 500. I feel like they did that. Is like, God damn it, the Steelers are going to have a losing season. Then we went 9-8. But you'll have that
I believe.
anyway. It goes from "I'll See You When We're Both Not So Emotional," which again my favorite song on the album, to "Stay Home," which is by far the longest song on the album at 10 seconds over 8 minutes. And again, fantastic instrumentation on this song. Like, it goes without saying that pretty much every song they took very, very special care of. Like, every note is just so particularly placed that, like, it incites an emotion inside you that a lot of people listening to this album had never heard or never felt before that. And I feel like "Stay Home," as lengthy of a song as it is very tasteful throughout the length of the song itself. And then, obviously, as previously stated, "The One with the Wurlitzer" is the last song and second instrumental of the album. And the Wurlitzer is just so wonderfully performed throughout the song. And even with it being the shortest song on the album, it's so short that it just makes you want to go right back to the start and just start it all over again. And I feel like anybody wanting to get into more like technically profound, I suppose you could say, music in this genre, like anybody wanting to get into like Midwest emo or math rock, has some post rock and indie rock vibes to it as well. Um, I would have to say this is a fantastic song to get in. This is a fantastic album to get into. Like I said, my favorite song on the album is I'll see you when we're both not so emotional. Harley's is probably for sure. Um, Kenny,
I'll see when we're not so emotional. It was very deep, and like I like Never Met. Um, but
everyone
you know,
loves Never Met.
yeah, like it was like I'd never heard it before, and it was good. Um, I would give the album as a whole, I would give it like a 6.5.
Fair enough.
No, that's
I like
bullshit. That's fucking bullshit.
what
Harley's gonna start throwing hot tea. Harley's about to microwave a honey bun for 15 minutes and throw it to Memphis.
oh shit, we're getting bombed.
No,
Um,
No, I'm joking.
I'm fucking with you. I do like.
yeah,
To me, it's a very historic, album. Like especially for like Midwest emo and sad boy shit, which is what I like. So that's why I was like, you know, 6.5. That's bullshit.
well, I mean, I don't know. I also like I wasn't. I should have listened to this in my like when I was going through like when I went through that Tim McGraw album, like uh I should have gone in with the same. And if I would have listened to it that night, it probably would have hit a little bit different. Like you
No,
feel me?
absolutely.
Yeah.
You start
So
off
I
with the
mean,
Tim McGraw album, end with this one. You're just gonna be crying in the club, and that's just how it. That's the kind
oh
of
god,
music it
like
does.
I don't want to go meet Moneybag Yo right now. Like I'm so fucking sad, dog. Like, I gotta go home. Bye.
But
Well, walk
anyway,
out the studio and some more shit.
No, but I'd have to say, oh yeah, Harley, what'd you say you was gonna rate this?
oh, this, like I said, like I told Kenny, like being and what's crazy is this album really got. I mean, it had a little popularity to it when it came out, but like it really blew up and like when they left because they went away for a long time. They came
Yeah,
back.
that's a
They came back in 2014. They're like, we're gonna do a few shows, and then it was like everybody's like, no, we love you. Like they just were fucking insanely big, and now they're like one of the biggest bands. Like looking back, like especially for that genre and stuff, like they looked at
mm-hmm.
it like
I read
pioneers.
that.
So,
That's amazing.
and like with this album, I would have to give it. I Dude, it was so ahead of its time. I can't explain how much it was. Like listen to guitars and like going back and listen to it, I'm like, dude, you can hear all these other bands. Like you can hear like even bands like you could hear bands like where like Fallout Boy and like Panic at the Disco or and then even further like you can hear where Hot Mulligan sounds like them.
Yeah,
Um,
you definitely have the
yeah,
foundation for some stuff. Like
yeah,
that's
like
another good thing about this year in
John
general. Like it's
D.
like
Another one of Trevor's favorite. Another one of our favorites is um American modern bass. Yeah,
Ooh,
modern baseball.
modern baseball is so wonderful.
Yeah.
modern baseball.
No, they're good. Like they are really, but they are like heavy influence. You can tell like from this album. Like this album,
Yeah,
this album changed the way. Like it paved the way, and then like
this is the
they,
grandfather of a lot of shit that
yeah,
people love that became
like
super
It's
huge.
the grandfather of pretty much every math rock band you can think of.
yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly, to me, is like this, and then when Taking Back Sunday came out in 2002, that was like the two pioneer like for emo and Midwest and math rock emo. Like that kind of shit.
yeah,
Like those were the albums that walked so everybody could run nowadays. And
Yeah, no,
in
for
my
sure.
eyes. So
yeah.
yeah, with that, like I said, I had to give it 8 out of 10. I don't know. I love it so much because I am a sad boy, like I've said. Like for sure, might be. I don't know. It hit me hard the other day, man, and I almost lost it. So I'd have to go, like, in this moment, I had to say that's my favorite one.
Word.
I think,
I mean, like, it seems like a good, like, if like some shit happens or I'm sad or whatever, it seems like good music to go to for that. Obviously, like, you know.
oh, yeah. Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
And like, yeah, also I had read like the that they blew up, like they blew up in like 2014, really.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, it was funny kind of how this album happened because it's like they recorded it, released it in 1999. No one gave a shit because it was like so ahead of its time that everybody's like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
And they would just like go back to new metal. And then they wound up breaking up in 2000. And then all of
yeah,
a sudden they had this massive resurgence, like pretty much after we graduated 2014. And then they put their next studio album out 17 years after. They
that's
put out
wild.
they put out their second LP from 1999 all the way. It took 17 years. And thank God that like Midwest emo and math rock had just slowly been building this massive fan base along the way because again, without that, you wouldn't have modern baseball. You wouldn't have all these bands that take such heavy influence from them. And my personal favorite band, which I laugh every time I think of the name, but Chinese Football
Chinese
is
football.
yeah, they're like directly inspired by American football. And don't let the name fool you. Like, it is fucking wonderful. Like, I've showed
Yeah,
Harley some Chinese football before. That shit slaps. And they are
yeah.
singing in Mandarin, but don't let that. Like, Chinese
Don't
football
let
is
that
so
deter you.
talented. I know this is about American football, but Chinese football is so talented that, like, they wound up writing a song that rhymes not only in Mandarin, but if you translate it, it rhymes in English as well. That's
The fuck?
goddamn talent. I don't
What the
care.
what
That
the
is
hell for real?
yeah, like no shit, dude. Like I'll send it to you after the podcast. That shit
That's
goes
fucking
hard.
crazy.
That is
But no, I wound up
insane. Like,
yeah, no, they're fucking smart. And it's really sad because they started getting really, really big right before the pandemic. And what sucks about it is they're from Wuhan. So yeah, that didn't it's not like they were just like, oh, there's the people that started COVID. It wasn't like that, but it was just like, Wuhan became under like a lot of fucking scrutiny right after COVID happened, and Chinese football is from Wuhan, so it kind of played out to be unfortunate for them. But no, American football, for my rating, I'd have to give it a 9 out of 10. And I'm a little more lenient with my 9 out of 10s than I am out of my 10 out of 10s, but this is like an absolute, like at the lowest, maybe an 8.5 out of 10 because it's just not long enough. That'd be my only complaint. I wish this album went another 20 minutes, truthfully.
I feel
But
that.
with that being said, we're going to go ahead and go into Kenny's second choice for his 1999 albums.
Yeah. So so I've got I Am by Nas, which it's kind of it feels like kind of like sacrilegious to have it's so low as like fourth out of my top five, but it's just there was so much good music that came out before, that like it just so much iconic music came out. But anyways, that's not the point. I Am by Nas is his third studio album. It was released early 1999, and it's great. Like, I mean, honestly, it's like I mean, I've given a speech about Illmatic. I've given a speech about It Was Written. This is the third one, and it's a notch below that. It's still very good, but like it's not like a classic. I wouldn't call it a classic. Although it
Mm-hmm.
did have one of the most iconic music videos of all time with mentioning somebody that we don't fuck with no more as a people, as a culture. But Hate Me Now, man, you can't, like this shit's. I mean, there's a whole controversy around the song. There's a big ass history around surrounding the song. Nas was originally going to be. He was. Like, just go look it up, man. Go look it up because it's a lot. It's on topics and shit that I really don't want to get into at the moment. But it's and then considering that it's involving the people that it's involving, it adds a lot more perspective to it. But anyways, the album opens with New York State of Mind Part 2, which is my second favorite song on the
Honestly,
album.
I gotta say, after listening, sorry to interrupt, but like after listening to the first New York State of Mind and then listening to this one, I'm having a hard time figuring out what my favorite is between the two because it's like this is a more well polished version of what he did with that first one, but that first one is
Still
just
the
so hard
same.
to beat.
No. The second, I see. I'm glad you mentioned that because, like, I think that the second one's my favorite.
And I don't blame you, because the first time you told me that, I was like, no, dude. And then I listened to it. I was like,
Look
oh,
at every
okay.
bag.
That's
Look at every bag you bring through your door. Lock the top lock. Mama should have cuffed me to the radiator. Why not? It might have saved me later from my block and why cops like the shit. Like,
yeah, no, he was going off, dude.
yeah, no, for sure. And then it goes straight into like I'm not gonna do a full track by track, but uh it goes into oh, Small World, duh. All right, so like yeah, no, it goes Hate Me Now. My favorite songs on the album, two of them are get them right out the way. So you got literally or three of them. That's talking about 3 song runs, and then really 5 too. But I mean, it's not my favorite. But New York State of Mind 2, Hate Me Now, featuring
Diddy.
fucking
Say it. Diddy.
Redacted.
Do your best Big Mill impression.
Bro, man, oh my god, bro, man, I hope Meat Mill's doing all right, bro. That shit, ugh. Hey, ah. All right. Anyways, and then into Small World, which Small World is one of my favorite Nas tracks. Damn, it really is. So I do have like 3 of my favorite Nas tracks ever that are on this album, and like Small World is just it's a storytelling song. It's 3 verses and he connects it all back and just like I like it. It's my favorite. It it's not even the best storytelling track on this album. Is the craziest part. Um, You Won't See Me Tonight featuring Aaliyah, produced by Timbaland. It's a good song, and like shouts out to Aaliyah. I love Aaliyah. Like she's just I like.
Dude, I love her fucking voice, dude. Like you can't go
Oh
wrong
yeah,
with Aaliyah.
it's iconic, man. It's just like nobody's ever gonna sound like that again.
No,
It's
actually,
just
one of my
soft and
friends
sweet.
is
There are
named after her.
many imitators. Nobody that's going to overpass her just with that specific style, dude.
It was a
Fuck
whole
R.
different
Kelly.
vibe. It was a whole different energy. Like it's just like that's how like a special when a music because there's several musicians that are like that or bands that are like that. Whatever have you. Um, like, but just whenever you feel that about an artist, it's like the fact that it's been over 20 years since she passed, and like we're still talking about her on a podcast right now is amazing. With the amount Also, like shit, kind of on that note, RIP Static Major. I listened to a thing, and the guy that was on, what that is?
Static Major. I've heard that name before.
Okay, he featured on Lollipop with Lil Wayne.
Oh, okay.
But what he actually did, I bet you didn't even know there was a feature on Lollipop, did you?
Well, shit.
He's in the video, but he passed, man, because of but no, he wrote a lot of Aaliyah's hits. Like he was on like that team. He was with Missy Elliott and them, Timbaland, like as part of like that camp, and he's like really responsible for like just look into him. He died back in 2008, actually. But he died because of a improper medical procedure that was done on him. So,
Damn.
but yeah, sorry, I got off on a tangent. My bad. R.I.P. Static Major, R.I.P. Aaliyah. What Kendrick say? R.I.P. Aaliyah. Okay. So we got I Want to Talk to You, which it's a political song. I like it a lot. My foundations are in like political rap, and it's it's Nas is one of the best at that too, like low key. I mean, kind of in his own special way because he's just Nas, but Nas can give like when he does go in that political type of range, there's a lot there,
Yeah.
Um,
No, I
I mean,
agree.
it's
Like
one.
when he has something to say, he has something to say for sure.
yeah, and
Yeah,
he's like Nas is one of the best at like maybe the best at articulating himself.
yeah, that's one of my favorite songs on that. It's like to me when he gets to that album, that's when it starts. That's when it starts getting even better. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
when
no, it gets. Go ahead.
no, I mean I don't know. That's just when the album to me just starts locking in for some reason. Like it just caught my like I was listening to it the other day at work and I was like, man, this is good. And then I heard I Want to Talk to You. I'm like, oh, I like
Yeah,
what he's saying, you know, and like the emotion behind it, and then all of a sudden it was just like
it was
bam. I
on.
don't know,
Yeah,
like
it
the
was on.
album just picked up.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I like yeah, but yeah, that this is going into Doctor Knockboot, which like honestly, it's one of my
But
least
pretty much,
favorites
is
on
he
the
giving
album.
you sex advice throughout that song? It's kind of
Yeah. I mean, it's straight. It's definitely straight. I like the beat on it. It's produced by Trackmasters, who Trackmasters was big on the production on the last album. So, um, but yeah, no, I fucks with. I mean, it's one of the better beats on the album, I would say.
yeah, for sure.
Um, and then on to 11, which is man, I keep saying it's my favorite. I see. I was gonna put this album at 5th and put the Slick Rick at 4, and I was like, that's blasphemy, bro. Like, that's blasphemy. I can't do that. That's a violating ass thing to do.
Oh yeah,
Like, because these 4 albums that I'm about to talk about, they're all like just iconic, man, in their own ways. But this one is too. I mean, it's Nas's 3rd album, and he actually would release. I want to touch on this. Well, I'll wait till the end. Actually, I'll wait till the end. Big Things, probably my least favorite. It's just it's pretty forgettable. Um, just in the grand scheme of things, not to it's a decent song, but you know, uh, just not my favorite. On to Nas's Like, which is Nas's Like is one of his biggest hits.
it bangs.
It
Nas
does,
is
and like
like is one of the first songs I heard from Nas that was just like, holy shit, Nas is
bro,
absolutely like that.
man, freedom of jail, clips inserted, a baby's being born, same time a man is murdered, the beginning and end. As far as rap go, it's only natural I explain my plateau and also what defines my name. Like that's
Yeah, no, it's
iconic, bro.
hell yeah.
Like iconic. Um, Kising. Oh, hold on. Fun fact about Nas is like, all right, so I think that if I remember correctly, I believe that one of our co-hosts here doesn't really fuck with J. Cole like that. But that lyric
Trevor.
that I just what's up,
I said Trevor.
What?
Trevor?
Trevor doesn't fuck with J Cole like that
Don't you lie on me like that.
because I
Man,
know
don't
you
fuck
ain't
with J.
talking to
Cole.
me.
It's
I
J.
know you
Cole,
ain't
bro.
talking to me. I'll
I
fold you
thought it was.
close, bitch.
I
I'll
did
fold
ask.
you.
Thought it was early.
I'll fold bullshit. I'll fold you close for you. I put Trevor on J Cole. Don't
Okay.
cap on me
All right.
like that.
Never mind. Never mind. Never mind.
Don't cap on me like
Damn.
that.
That was-
Hey, Trevor can
dude.
tell
All
you.
right.
I've been banging J Cole like banging
In
him Meek Mill
2011.
style. Dude,
Yeah.
I've
Oh,
been
bro.
I've been bumping that album for you. Like I've been, not the album. I've been bumping J Cole for years, dude. Like
Same. Okay. Bet. You've been bumping since the warm up, looking ass.
oh yeah, I'm talking about 2011, baby.
Yeah, I was there in 2011. I feel you. J. Cole. My first song ever was almost a remix to a J. Cole song. Fuck you mean?
Mine too. I wrote a song called Trip Power. Oh
Power. Oh yeah, tripping off that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right. Oh yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So like the lyrics that I just said, the freedom of jail clips inserted. Like if you go to J. Cole's song, "Let Nas Down," which was made in 2013, probably made in 2012, but released in 2013,
yeah, I'm the
and
center and double or
freedom of jail clips inserted. A baby's being born, same time a man is murdered. The beginning and end. As far as rap go, it's only natural I explain my plateau and also what defines my name.
there we go.
Sorry, I don't know. When you're in rap school, they definitely make you do this.
Oh no, I
All right.
mean it is what it is.
Oh yeah, man. Shit. Um. So I'm gonna go on and I don't know. KISSING is good, I guess.
I like
Money
it.
is my bitch. I like it. Um. My favorite song, maybe one of my favorite Nas songs of all time, just because of the storytelling and the just. I feel like it's up there with it's a sleeper to be in there with those like stand songs, like those like, uh, like it's one of those,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
and I feel like it gets slept on in that like small world. Same thing with Small World. My favorite song on this album, I guess, is the closer, which is Undying Love, and man, like it's just, bro, the like like for rap for me and music in general, it definitely, if you can paint a picture in my brain, that's the best shit, like
Oh
if I
yeah,
can see it as you're saying it, like I can really visualize this, like with Good Kid Mad City, you can visualize being like, it's like everything works with the album and the aesthetic and shit, like where it works, and mostly
Yeah.
like, of course, the person performing the music. um but this is one of those, and the third verse especially, like, and this was a double album at one point. It was also released with Nas's worst album ever, uh, called Nostradamus. I think that 2018's album is actually worse, but anywho, um, yeah, Nostradamus. So this was originally supposed to be have even more stuff going to it. This was in the age of this is when like Napster and shit was in its prime.
oh yeah,
So like, although it sold well, like it was one of the earliest, like Illmatic had the earliest leaks or whatever. So this was like big leaks. There were big leaks around this album. So a lot of it ended up. Nostradamus isn't a bad album either. It's just like it's not really that memorable, and it was also released this year. Is the only reason I'm mentioning it. Mentioning it. But yeah, yeah, I'll open up the floor. I give this a 8.
yeah. I guess I'll have to. I mean, I agree with you about everything. I'll tell you, like this album. Really, when I went back and listened to it today, or today, like this week. Not well. I say went by. I never listened. Like I've heard like a few songs off of it, and I was like, okay, I'll go back. I'll dig in this album. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, we all went and listened to each other's albums, and I was like, dude, this album just, I don't know, it's just stuck out to me. And especially the
Yeah,
first, like I said, when it got to, you know, I want to talk to you. To I don't know something about that, and then Doctor Knockboot. I don't know. I like that song. I thought it was pretty cool. Like I know it's like sexual. Like that's not the sometimes that shit's just overplayed, like overdone, and it's like okay, that's too much. But I don't know, I fucked with it, and then I don't know. Of course, like you said, Nas is like one of the you know
it's one of his best
big
songs.
impactful
It's got
songs.
to be, you know.
Oh yeah,
It's a hit. Like it's such a hit. Like I wasn't outside in 1999. Like like none of us were. We were probably outside, but if we were outside, we were like playing with the dog or like sitting in the yard or some shit like that.
yeah. I was
Yeah, and
pissing
my
out in the
German
front
Shepherd
yard.
wasn't showing me fucking undying love, so this is kind of the facts of life there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I wasn't outside, but I bet like Nas's like went off. Like I mean, in New York, like especially like New York State of Mind 2, which it's so hard for me to pick my favorite song on the album because like really New York State of Mind 2 is my favorite song, but really Undying Love is just because
yeah,
of and really sometimes Small World is. Um, but yeah, it's a great Nas album. Like what a way to open up a career, right? 3 out like if you got Illmatic, you got It Was Written, and you got I Am, and then he stumbled a little bit, but then still Matic in 2001. Like, bro, like Nas is definitely the goat.
yeah,
Although he's not even the best, although he's the fourth best album in 1999, he's still the goat.
I can't disagree, dude. I'd have to personally, I'd give this album a damn solid 8.5 out of 10. I feel like
Ugh.
there like there's not really many like weak points to the album. It's damn near the perfect length. Nas is definitely in his like spitting his shit bag. The Aaliyah feature is goddamn chef's kiss. I like Favor for a Favor quite a bit, but I'd have to say my favorite song on the album is probably between Nas's Like and Undying Love. Um, Ghetto Prisoners is another absolute banger of a song. Like all the way around, especially the DMX feature. I mean, good lord,
DMX
like
feature was fire, bro. Like,
dude,
damn, I didn't talk about the
everything
DMX.
on this album, all the way down from that to the production. I mean, Primo absolutely in his bag, as well as Timbaland doing what he did on "You Won't See Me Tonight." Just yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I may have to change mine to an 8.5.
yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna stick with on my ranking on it. I'll have to stick with a I don't know. I have to. Yeah, I'll give it an 8. it's worth it. I mean,
Oh
it's a
yeah, just
fun
after
album. It's a fun album. It keeps you interested. It's like it
it's
flows
got a little
very
bit of
well.
everything.
Yeah,
Got a little
really
bit of
does.
everything. And like it's not like super it's not like iconic like I feel like his first two albums are. But it still very much belongs in the conversation. And like yeah, DMX on that motherfucker. Like I almost put DMX's album on my top 5, but like it wasn't my favorite, you know.
Oh yeah.
Neither was his, man. But yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go on and pass it.
All right. Well, with
So,
that, we're gonna split this up. I reckon we're gonna do a little intermission
Intermission.
and
absolutely.
kick it back. We'll come back in just a little bit and fire it up for everybody.
Yeah, we
That's
got
right.
that fire.
Well, my God,
Yeah, and
we'll
like I
do
mean,
it.
we can go on and close this out whenever, man. I'm trying to
All right.
grab a bite to eat right quick and then get back to it.
All right,
Sounds
bet.
good.
We'll see y'all after these few messages.
Yes, messages for our sponsor.
Post a check looking kind of crap like a paradise. Night got Tuesday, moody as the vibe. When the report will come back and say he alright. Shouldn't even be running a heister, or is it a hister? Shout out to the ones that call me mister. Incredible that this is legend, but promoted on the phone. Kinda hated making this a sensible phone to home. Yeah, and it's
That
all
Marmaduke.